welcome everyone to the start of Thursday morning. We'll begin with a talk by Raghu Pantagi about the EKR module property.
Okay, so firstly, I would like to thank all the organizers for giving me this opportunity. So quite a lot of speakers have spoken about EKR problems, so I will not spend a lot of time introducing them. So this is sort of still work in progress, and it's basically an open-ended investigation on what kind of group action satisfy this EKR module property that was defined by, I think, at least two other speakers. Okay, so I'll start by just recalling the definitions. So we consider a transitive action of a finite group on a set omega. So here I don't assume it's faithful, but just transitive. And throughout the talk, I will let H to be my point stabilizer. So whenever there's this symbol H, it will just be some point stabilizer of some point. So again, inspired by the classical Erdős-Corrado theorem, we want to find what are called intersecting sets. So a subset S is an intersecting set if S times S inverse sits inside the union of conjugates of point stabilizers. That is, if you take any 2 points S and T, the ratio S T inverse has to fix some point in omega. Okay, what some very natural examples of these intersecting sets will be cosets of point stabilizers. So here, by if I write H superscript Y, it will just be the conjugate of H with Y. So what we are interested in this EKR problem for groups or EKR problems in general is to find these so-called maximum intersecting sets, which are intersecting sets of the biggest possible size. Now, another theme in this EKR problem has been to be able to describe these maximum intersecting sets in terms of these natural examples of intersecting sets. So a group action is said to satisfy the EKR property if the size of every intersecting set is less than the size of a point stabilizer. That is, these are also maximum intersecting sets. Now, another interesting property comes from the characterization part of the classical Erdős-Corrado theorem, which is basically to say that this set is the set of all maximum intersecting sets. That is, if I have any maximum intersecting set, it has to be a coset of a point stabilizer. Okay. Now, there is one property which is sort of in between these two, which is called the EKR module property. So in order to define that, I'll first define this characteristic vector. So if I take any subset X of G, by V subscript X throughout this talk, I'll denote the formal sum of elements in X. Now this is an element of the group algebra. Now this action is said to satisfy the EKR module property if the characteristic vector of every maximum intersecting set is a linear combination of vectors in this Vx Hy, that is basically the linear combination of the characteristic vectors of these natural examples or canonical intersecting sets, as Professor Mar called them in her talk. Okay, some obvious examples of action satisfying the EKR module property would be, the action satisfying the strict EKR property, but that's not a very interesting example. So let me start with one example. This example, I consider the action of A4 with a stabilizer isomorphic to a subgroup of order 2. So A4 has a subgroup of order 2, and we just look at the action on its cosets of that subgroup. Now, this is a transitive action. But what we see in this case is if we take the union of all the conjugates of this group of order 2, this will actually be the Sylow 2 subgroup of A4, which is normal. So this has to be a maximum intersecting set, and any maximum intersecting set will be a coset of this. Now, of course, the characteristic vector of this can be written as, sum of characteristic vectors of the cosets of point stabilizers, right? So this satisfies the EKR module property, but one thing to note is that this does not satisfy the EKR property because, the maximum intersecting set is twice the size of the point stabilizer, right? So this is to illustrate that that EKR module property can be independent of the EKR property. Right? Now we have given an example. Let me give you a non-example. So this non-example, I'll consider the group S5. Now S5 has a subgroup which is isomorphic to the dihedral group of order 12. Now if we consider the action of G on the cosets of this subgroup, we can show that this satisfies the EKR property because this has a regular subgroup, which is the dihedral group of order 10. Now, if we consider in terms of derangement graphs, this regular subgroup will correspond to a maximal clique. So by using this clique-Krokig bond, we can show this actually satisfies the EKR property. So the size of every maximum intersecting set has to be 12. Now, S5 also has a subgroup isomorphic to A4. Now we can show that every element in A4 is actually conjugate to an element of D6 in S5. So this is an intersecting set by definition. And since its size is 12, it's also a maximum intersecting set. Now we want to see if the characteristic vector of A4 can be written as the sum of characteristic vectors of cosets of D6 or conjugates of D6 as well. But there's a simple reason why it won't, that's not the case. The reason being, if you consider any coset of D6, it will have exactly 6 even permutations and 6 odd permutations. So if you take the sort of the sum of sign character values on H, it will be 0. Whereas A4 has all the permutations in A4 are even. So, you cannot have the characteristic vector of this to be a sum of characteristic vectors of cosets of H. So this is a non-example. Now, one of the most general results so far on EKR module property was by Marr and Sin. They proved that if we take any two transitive group action, that satisfies the EKR module property. So after looking at this paper, I started working on trying to find more examples. So these are a few examples I found. So if a group action has a regular normal subgroup, then it satisfies the EKR module property. The condition of normal is sort of necessary, because if we don't have a normality and just a regular subgroup, we don't have the EKR module property. So here we have a regular subgroup, but this is not normal and we don't have EKR module property. Now this can be sort of taken as, the K semi-direct product H acting on K, where every element of H acts on K via conjugation and every element of K acts via multiplication. So any group action with a regular normal subgroup can be thought of in this way. Right. Now, another example I looked at was this nilpotent groups. The reason I sort of looked at nilpotent groups is they're very close to abelian groups, and actions of abelian groups have strict EKR properties. So I thought it might be a good idea to start looking at nilpotent groups. So if I consider a nilpotent group whose nilpotence class is 2, that is the commutator is central, then any transitive action of this will have the EKR module property. So here I'm not specifying an action, whereas here there's a specific action. Now another example that I found was basically a rank 3 permutation group which satisfies the EKR module property. So this is again, just sort of looking what happens if we drop the 2 transitivity. So one way of constructing rank 3 permutation groups is if we take a 2 transitive group, and if we consider its product action on a set of size n square. So you take T Reith product with S2 and then look at its action on n square. Now this will be a rank 3 permutation group and it will be primitive. And this also satisfies the EKR module property. Now, as one would have guessed, the methods I use will involve some character theory because we are again dealing with vectors in the group algebra. Okay, so basically we want to show that every maximum intersecting set is a linear combination of characteristic vectors of the canonical intersecting sets, which are basically cosets of point stabilizers, right? Now, if we consider this linear span, it is not only just a subspace of CG, it's in fact a two-sided ideal of CG. It's not, it's elementary to check that there's a two-sided ideal of the group algebra. Now, two-sided ideals of CG by this Artin-Wedderburn theorem is a direct sum of minimal two-sided ideals of the group algebra. And the minimal two-sided ideals of the group algebra are the ideals spanned by this primitive central idempotence. So these are basically, if you have a character chi, this element, this will be an idempotent and it's in the center of the group algebra and it's primitive, as in you cannot write it as a sum of two other idempotents. So every minimal ideal will be generated by one of these. Now, so we want to, it might be helpful if we can find which minimal ideals are summands of this two-sided ideal, because this two-sided ideal has to be summand of some of these minimal ideals. So for that, I just look at this sort of easy algebraic formula. So if I have a set X in G, I want to find what happens when I multiply this primitive central idempotent with the characteristic vector. And you basically can write it in this form. Again, recall that the elements of the group are is a basis set for this group algebra CG. So basically, the coefficient of G will basically be this character sum, where this is the sum of character values of elements in X G inverse. So this is just a simple algebra here. Now, how does this help us? Now, if we consider an irreducible character, an irreducible character is summand of the permutation character only if this inner product is non-zero. If this inner product is non-zero, from this algebraic formula, we know that E chi does not annihilate the characteristic vector of a point stabilizer. Now, E chi is a minimal ideal. So E chi intersect with this ideal will contain a non-zero element. So all of E chi should be a summand of this. Now, conversely, if we consider some irreducible character, which is not a summand of the permutation character, then we can show that, chi of VH will be 0. So you can sort of also show that E chi will annihilate every coset of the point stabilizer. So this E chi cannot be a summand of this because it annihilates every element in this. So what we have is this ideal, which is the linear span of this canonical intersecting vectors, is the sum of minimal ideals corresponding to the irreducible summands of the permutation characters. Now, what I found interesting here is that the multiplicities of these did not matter. So the dimension of this only depends on which characters are non-zero here with respect to this product. Now that we got this nice description of this linear span. We want to see when we can sort of see when can when can a vector be in this and when is a vector not in this. So a vector is in this if and only if it is not, it is annihilated by everything which is not in this. Right. So that is my characterization. So if I have a group acting on omega, this satisfies the EKR module property if and only if I take any maximum intersecting set, and if I take any character psi, which which is not a summand of the permutation character, then the character sum over the elements of that minimal of the maximum intersecting set has to be 0. So the psi of this characteristic vector will just be the sum of psi of the sum of the character values of elements in S. Now the proof of this is it's not too difficult. It's basically using this fact and then using the fact that the sum of these idempotents is 1 and each of these idempotents is these idempotents are orthogonal. Right? So basically we went from a linear span to ideals and back to a characterization using these characters. Okay. Now I was able to use this to show that all my examples satisfy the EKR module property. Okay. So now we'll first start looking at groups which have regular subgroups. One motivation with this is there's this well-known result that if there's a regular subgroup, then it has the EKR property, not the module property. This is because a regular subgroup in the derangement graph is a large enough clique, and we can use a co-clique bound to show that this has the EKR module property. But this is clearly not sufficient because we have seen this example with S5 acting on D6, and this has this intersecting set A4, which cannot be written as a linear span of cosets of D6, right? So now I want to investigate when a group action has a regular normal subgroup. Okay. So if a group action has a regular normal subgroup, then I can sort of write it as a semi-direct product of the regular normal subgroup with a point stabilizer, and it acts on the normal subgroup via this action. So H basically conjugates this and N by multiplication. And we can consider H to be basically the stabilizer of the identity of N. Now, the way I proved this is, first I considered maximal intersecting sets that contain 1. And so any maximum intersecting set has to be a transversal, because this, if you take any two elements S and T, ST inverse will not belong in N because N is a co-clique, and it's a transversal because the size of S0 is the same as H. Now using that, I was basically able to show that if I take any character, the character sum over the elements of S0 will be just the same as the character sum of elements of a point stabilizer. So here, note that S0 is 1. Now, in order to show EKR module property, we need to show that whenever this is 0, this has to be 0 for every maximum intersecting set, not just maximum intersecting set containing 1. But so far, we have seen that this is true for a maximum intersecting set containing 1. Now, how do we generalize this to every maximum intersecting set? So for that, there's a very easy trick. So again, I'll recall that in order to show that the group satisfies the EKR module property, we just need to show that whenever the character sum of elements in H is 0, then the character sum of elements in any maximum intersecting set has to be 0. So since we are dealing with finite groups, we can assume that for every irreducible character, there's actually a unitary representation. That is, instead of taking a representation from G to GLV, we can take G to the group of unitary matrices. Now, again, if we have some set X in G, I'll define this matrix Px to be the sum of Py's with Y in X. Now, since we assume this is a unitary representation, Px inverse will just be the conjugate transpose of this matrix Px. Now, why we are doing this is, basically, if we take any maximum intersecting set, and if I take PS times PS conjugate transpose, it's basically PS times PS inverse. Now, if S is a intersecting set, S inverse is also an intersecting set. Now, this can be written as sum over P indexed by S inverse. Now, S times S inverse, if S is a maximum intersecting set, S times S inverse is a maximum intersecting set containing 1. Now, what we have shown is if there's a maximum intersecting set containing 1, so the trace of this matrix has to be the same as trace of this matrix corresponding to H, which is 0 because chi of VH is 0. Now, if the trace of this is 0, then the trace of a matrix multiplied by its conjugate transpose is 0. Now, the trace of this is basically the sum of norms of the rows of PS. That means this PS has to be 0. That basically means this character sum is 0 for every maximum intersecting set, not just for maximum intersecting sets containing 1. Okay. So now some examples of groups that satisfy the this hypothesis that you have a regular normal subgroup is basically we have Frobenius groups, or we have affine groups, and there are a few other classes of primitive groups like holomorph of a simple group, holomorph of a compound group, or twisted wreath product. So quite a few primitive permutation groups satisfy the EKR module property. Now the next example I mentioned was the nilpotent groups. Now another motivation for nilpotent groups was this result by these two authors, I am not sure how to pronounce their names, which show that every transitive action of a nilpotent group satisfies the EKR property. Now, naturally, I was curious, does this imply that same about EKR module property? I was not able to show it for all nilpotent groups, but I was able to show it for nilpotent groups of whose nilpotence class 2, that is nilpotent groups in which the commutator is central. Right? So I'm not going to go into the details of this proof, but it sort of involves some induction and the fact that a faithful character of every nilpotent group of class 2 vanishes outside the center. Now, one question I have is it true for all nilpotent groups? Now, another result from the same paper by these two authors shows that if every transitive action of a group satisfies the EKR module property, then G is a soluble group. So here we're not taking one action, but if we take any group and any subgroup and we look at the action on the coset, it has to satisfy the EKR property. Now I want to see if there's an analog for this. Like I want to see if G is soluble, then does every transitive action of G satisfy the EKR module property? Okay. Now on to my next example. So my next example was sort of inspired by this result. So if G has a transitive subgroup which satisfies the EKR property, then so does G. So this was a result in a paper by Marsh, Piga, and Tiep. But is this true? This is not true because again, I go to this example where I take the action of S5 and the cosets of D6. Now A5 is a transitive subgroup for this. And it's not too difficult to see that all the maximum intersecting sets in S5 will be cosets of D6 and A4. And the maximum intersecting sets in A5 will just be cosets of A4. So A5 does not satisfy the EKR property, but you can show that A5 satisfies the EKR module property by just using this character theory. You take any character that vanishes on a stabilizer of A5, then it will vanish on this. But this doesn't happen in this case because A5 does not have the sign character, but S5 has a sign character. Okay. Now, another result that I found interesting was as an intermediate step to showing that all two transitive groups have EKR module property, Marr and Sin showed that if you have a two transitive normal subgroup that satisfies the EKR module property, then so does G. Of course, all two transitive subgroups satisfy this, but this was an intermediate step in their proof. Now, my question is, does this generalize to all of this? But this does not generalize to even rank 3 setting because, this action is rank 3 and we have a counter example. Okay. So my question now is, if G has a transitive normal subgroup with both EKR and EKR module property, then does G have the EKR module property? This should be EKR module property, not EKR. And my first choice was to say start investigating rank 3 permutation groups or primitive rank 3 permutation groups, because just start with the easier setting first. Okay, so from the classification of primitive rank 3 permutation groups, it's either an affine group. If it's an affine group, it has a regular normal subgroup, so it satisfies the EKR module property, or it could be an almost simple group, which could be pretty difficult to test, or it's of this form where T, we take a two transitive group and take its Wreath product with Z2 and act it on the set of n square. This is the primitive Wreath product action. Now, using again the property that two transitive groups satisfy EKR module property, I was able to show that this group also satisfies the EKR module property, and similar techniques work when I take the Wreath product of a two transitive group with a cyclic group of order P. And the reason I took primes is because I just wanted to deal with one cycle structure instead of dealing with many, but I think this will generalize if I take Sn instead of Zp. And as far as almost simple groups case is concerned, a result by Marr and BD showed that when n is not 5, when we take this natural rank 3 permutation action of Sn, that is on two sets of points, this satisfies the EKR module property. They didn't state it explicitly, but it does. And from this, you can also sort of deduce that same thing holds for An. And An, we don't need n is 5 because we just saw this example that A5 satisfies the EKR module property when we consider this natural rank 3 permutation action. Now the question is, what about other rank 3 actions of almost simple groups? And what about imprimitive rank 3 actions? I think yesterday BD spoke about one of these actions, so maybe he can answer this. Okay. Now, am I out of time?
We started a little late, so you can continue.
Okay. So the next thing is, so far I've just been doing algebra and putting in its combinatorics. So I have to bring in some combinatorics somehow. So if G is a two transitive group and S is any maximum intersecting set, Marr and Sin proved that S has the same inner distribution as that of a stabilizer of a point. Now, I'll briefly recall what inner distribution is. So if we have a conjugacy class C in G, we count the number of pairs X and Y in a set X, such that XY inverse is in the conjugacy class. And this inner distribution will be this vector, where we take C1, C2, so on up to CR are all the conjugacy classes. Okay. So for two transitive groups, what happens is, if we take X to be a maximum intersecting set, the inner distribution vector will be the same as if we take a point stabilizer. Okay. Now, using this sort of two bases for this in associative schemes, you have this basis at a dual basis, and we have this change of basis. So using that, if we assume the inner distribution of every intersecting set is some scalar multiple of the inner distribution of point stabilizer, then we can show it has the EKR module property. Now, is the converse true? So if this happens, is the converse true? The answer is no, because again, if you consider this rank 3 action of A5, that is A5 acting with S3 as a stabilizer, then this has a maximum intersecting set A4. And if you consider the dual distribution of A4, this is not a scalar multiple of dual distribution of D3. So even the inner distributions won't be scalar multiples of each other. Whereas this action satisfies the EKR module property. Now the next question is, of course, if our group satisfies both EKR and EKR module property, then will the inner distributions be the same? Okay. So I'll finish the talk with some more non-examples. So I've got about a few of these using some sort of educated guesses. So basically, you have this very nice homomorphisms between small groups of different types. So from that, you can sort of look at the group G acting on G mod H, and then there's another subgroup which is also a maximum intersecting set for these. And using this character theory, there's some character that does not vanish on this, that vanishes on these. So, you know, this cannot be written as a sum of cosets of this. Now, of course, if one wants infinitely many examples, what we can do is we can just take, you know, the sort of direct products, and we can get many, but that's not very interesting. What I would like to see is if there's a nice enough family of non-examples. Okay, and yeah, so that's all I had to say, and thank you.